Well, you're starting to get sticker shock because of the price of an Alaska cruise. Well, I have a video for you right here. I'm going to give you 10 money saving tips for your next Alaska cruise. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, Rob from Cruise Seekers, and planning an Alaska cruise can be a little daunting, especially when you start seeing the prices. They can give you severe sticker shock, but I have this video for you. It's going to save you a ton of money on your coming Alaska cruise. But before we get into these 10 tips, I would like to thank everybody who's become a member of this Cruise Seekers community. Thank you so much for doing it. We love you folks. We love having you here. And if you have yet to become a member of this Cruise Seekers community and you love tips and tricks and cruise deals, hey, think about subscribing and turn that notification bell on. It is so appreciated by us. Thank you so much for doing that. And while you're down there, hey, hit that like button. It really does help this YouTube channel. It does help this community grow by letting other people know that this is a great video. You're going to want to take a look at it. And as more people watch, more people join. Thank you so much for doing that. Alrighty, so Alaska. Alaska is very pricey. We all know that, but I have these 10 tips that are going to save you money, a nice amount of money, to make it a little bit more bearable when you go on to the Alaska cruise to see those bears. So the very first tip I'm going to give you is book your Alaska cruise as far out as possible. These Alaska cruises get the best rates the further you book out. Plain and simple. Try to get it as soon as they announce those sailings. Alaska cruises, folks, tend to sell out, so don't expect last minute deals. It's not going to happen. Now, TAs leverage this fact when they do their group rates. I, for example, get my group rates right when the sailings announce so that I get the best price point to start off with, and I even get a discount on those prices, which leads me to tip number 2. And so tip number 2 is find a travel agent that has great group rates going to Alaska. It's going to save you money. It's going to give you perks. It's going to maybe even give you a refundable deposit. A lot of reasons to book with the TA with group rates when you go to Alaska. Now, since we're talking about booking, I'm going to give you a few more booking tips that will save you money. The first one is book during shoulder seasons. There are 2 shoulder seasons for Alaska. The first one is in late April to May, and then the second one is in September to late October. Now, the reason why they call it shoulder seasons is A, the kids, they're still in school. So there's not enough people that are going during that time. It's not high traffic, high vacation time. The second reason is because, you know what? The weather's just not as good. It's a little cooler. It's going to be maybe a little bit more rainier. It's just the way it works. And finally, the other reason why it's a little discounted is because nature is just not as active during this time. The whales are just starting to come in, or they're heading on out. The bears are just getting out of hibernation, or they're heading up the mountain to go hibernate. So that's the situation you're going to get with shoulder season. But you know what? You will save some money. If you want to go visit Alaska and it's during the shoulder season, you're definitely going to save some money. Now, tip number 4, if you're thinking about booking a round trip cruise for Alaska, think about going out of Vancouver, British Columbia over Seattle. Those tend to be a little bit cheaper than the Seattle cruises. Plain and simple, folks. Now, for our U.S. cruisers, if you're going to do a cruise out of British Columbia, out of Vancouver, you're going to need a passport. That's the drawback for our U.S. viewers right there. Now, the next way to save some money on an Alaska cruise is think about doing either a northbound or a southbound cruise. Northbound cruises originate in Vancouver, British Columbia, while southbound cruises start at a port somewhere near Anchorage. It could be Whitaker, it could be Seward. Those are the 2 main ports up north. Now, those cruises tend to be 7-night cruises, and they tend to be on older ships, and they also tend to be cheaper. So that's another way to save some money. Now, since we're talking about itineraries, that leads me to my next tip. Think about trying to find a less popular itinerary. Those itineraries that go to Glacier Bay tend to be a lot more expensive than anywhere else. Those just are more popular, and the cruise lines know it, and they're going to charge you a premium for it. So if you want to save some money, kind of stay away from Glacier Bay. But if it's on your bucket list, go. I understand that. But if you've been there before and you're doing another Alaska cruise, tend to stay away from Glacier Bay. It will save you some money. And the final tip that I'm going to give you during your booking phase here is think about booking an inside or an ocean view cabin. You can save a lot of money versus a balcony cabin. Those balcony cabins come with a huge premium on an Alaska cruise. Cruise lines just know people like snuggling up with a blanket around them and a cup of coffee watching the Alaska scenery go by, and they're going to charge a premium for these balcony rooms. That simple, folks. So if you've got a bucket list excursion that you want to do, you can probably save enough money by booking an inside and doing that excursion, that bucket list excursion in Alaska versus having a balcony. So make that decision, folks, because it's going to help you save a ton of money, and it might give you the ability to go to do that bucket list excursion. Alrighty, now that we got our booking all taken care of and we saved the most amount of money we can doing that, let's talk about excursions. You can save a decent amount of money by booking your excursions independently. You can do this on your own. You can take a look at Google and see what's out there and just kind of book something on your own. All these travel ports for Alaska are very near the cruise ports. There's a lot of things you can do in order to just research and try to find a price at a better price point versus the cruise line. You're going to save some money there. The other thing you can do is not just do it ad hoc. When you get off the ship, there's going to be tour operators all around offering their different types of tours. And don't be afraid to ask for a lower price from the original price. If you don't ask, you're not going to get. That's simple, folks. So just ask. You never know what's the worst can happen. They could say no, this is the price. Well, fine, but that's great. Or you could just walk away and maybe they might then offer a better price. You never know. It never hurts to ask. And finally, you can do your own type of excursion. There's going to be a visitor center at every port. They're going to have maps. They're going to have pamphlets. There's a lot of things just in the general area that you can kind of do in each one of these ports. So don't be afraid to do your own type of tour. That's another thing you can do to save a reasonable amount of money when you go to Alaska, because those Alaska excursions, especially the ones offered by the cruise lines, can be very, very expensive. Now, another thing that you can do when going to Alaska is avoid going to sit-down restaurants at port. Some of the big ones come to mind, like Tracy's Crab Shack. They are very, very expensive. Talk to a local. Talk to someone who lives in those cities. See where they go to eat. They will let you know where some of the best food establishments are in that town that are not catering to all the tourists, and you will have some great food at a great price. Do that. There's also food trucks around that are serving up some great food, and they are so fresh with the seafood there. Don't hesitate to kind of just stay away from those big sit-down establishments. You will save a ton of money. Now, the last tip I'm going to give you to save some money on your Alaska cruise is leverage your travel rewards. There are many ways to go about this. Think about getting that credit card for that cruise line you're booking with, because if you start spending money on that credit card, say that you're going to pay your balance or your initial deposit or whatever, spend whatever the heck you want on that credit card, you're going to get bonus points when you get that credit card, and those points can turn to onboard credit when you go on your trip, and that can save you your gratuities when you go on the trip. That can save you money on an excursion. It might even give you a free excursion from the cruise line from all the points you accumulated. So definitely think about getting your cruise line's credit card. The other thing, of course, is use your credit card for the airline that's going to get you to Seattle or to Vancouver or to up to Alaska and into Anchorage, because you're going to do a southbound cruise. Use your points for your airline to maybe get you a free trip to your cruise. That's something you're going to want to think about too. It's going to save you some money, folks. Might as well leverage that. And finally, if you are a member of AARP and your cruise line has gift cards on the AARP marketplace, that's another great way to save some money. You can buy a bunch of those gift cards and save maybe 10% on your cruise fare by just using the gift cards from AARP to pay off your balance. Now, yeah, you're not going to be able to then use that, your credit card for either your airfare or for your cruise perks with the cruise line credit card, but you're going to save some money. You might not be able to leverage all of these things together, but you can definitely leverage most of them together. So there you go, folks. Those are my 10 tips to save some money on your Alaska cruise. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hey, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help that YouTube algorithm. It does help other people find this channel. And if you haven't done so just yet, you've been watching this whole video and you are not a member of this Cruise Seekers community, hey, think about subscribing. Turn that notification bell on. It is so appreciated by us. Thank you so much for doing it. Let us know in the comment section below, what are some of your tips to save some money on Alaska cruises? We would love to hear from our community. We love comments, and we always engage with everybody in the comments section. So until we talk again next time, this is Rob from Cruise Seekers, reminding each and every one of you to always seek the seas. Bye now.